I've been procrastinating cleaning up behind my miter saw station for quite some time now, because normally it's pressed up closer to the garage door. And I've had a slurry of muddy sawdust back here for a while because the garage door seal was bad and the concrete needed to be ground down a little bit on the outside to slope away from the house more. So I pulled everything out and replaced the garage door seal and moved these boxes out of the way that are filled with turning blanks and halfway finished projects, and cleaned and mopped the floor and got everything nice and tidy back here. And speaking of halfway finished projects, I never finish anything without starting 5 or 6 side quests along the way. So the water and the slurry of sawdust mud inside the door was the symptom, but it wasn't the cause. The cause was the garage door seal being bad and the ground sloping away from the house, and also a lack of a good dust collection system behind my miter saw. So figured as long as I had everything pushed out, I may as well make a new dust collection system. And this is not it. This is a prototype, but it's going to be something similar to this, I think, in the end. The short description of what I got here, this is made from a TV box that I saved for just such an occasion. You can see that I got the miter saw sticking out of the back here. And the way I've seen miter saw hoods or dust collection systems set up normally is to build a big box behind the miter saw. And I didn't want a big box because I want to push this back up against these boxes again and not have a lot of space there, because if I have extra space over here, that's space that I don't have on the other side of the shop. So I wanted to make this thing pretty low profile. And let's see, I used the original PVC pipe that I had in here before, but I cut some slots in the top of it there so that the dust would fall down inside. I don't think that's going to be my final solution. Again, this is just a prototype. I just want to see how this works out before I make some changes. But you know, it was no cost here and pretty easy to do. So I cut those slots in there to catch the sawdust, and then it'll get sucked into the dust collection system over here through that hose. Now, a couple of the problems that I have so far is that I think I could lose a little bit more off the width here, possibly, but the PVC pipe isn't really going to work for that. Another problem with the system I have here is that even with that 4-inch dust collector over there, that's moving quite a bit of air in this area. But once you get down to this side, a lot of the air has already been sucked up by that side, so it's not moving as quickly over here. So there's just a very slight breeze. So I think a lot of the dust that comes over here is just going to settle in there. And I'm fine with giving it a little sweep. I mean, the whole point is that I don't have to go behind the table and clean back there. And I also wanted to put in a port over here for the drill press, so I can, you know, run something up, connect to the drill press table here. So what I'm going to do to fix that later, I think, is probably build a box, like a V-shaped box on the back that's maybe 2 inches. I think it only has to be about 2 inches deep, sticking out from this cabinet. And I made this out of 1/2-inch plywood, so I would have something to screw into if I wanted to do something like this later. So 1/2 inch, maybe a V shape, so that the sawdust tends to drop down. You know, gravity gives it an assist to get it down into the port where it would go into the dust collection hose. And for now, I'm just using some duct tape to solve the problem with how far this style of sliding compound miter saw sticks out of the back. I didn't want to build a big box around this whole thing because, for one, that's extra materials, and two, it just, you know, it eats up more space. So I just wanted to do a simple box. I thought it would be easier to build and less of an obstruction in the shop, and that'll give me a nice shelf on top, and I could even, you know, make it a little taller and build some cabinets on there later. So the reason for that slot there, if you didn't figure it out already, is just so that if I want to loosen up my saw to do some miter cuts, I can get all the way over to the end, and I can also get over all the way to this side and have just enough room to get through there. I might, I think I shifted this a couple times, so I'll have to play around with the exact distance, but I used some duct tape for those fins for now. But I think what I really want is something kind of like a door weather strip that's got the almost like paintbrush bristles type thing. So maybe if I find a couple door weather seals that have long enough bristles, I could put that on there. And that's just to keep the dust from shooting out of the back here. But I think this box will catch most of it. Now, I haven't actually tried this out yet, so we're just going to do a quick test to see how it works out. I had a few PVC elbows left over from putting in the sump pump, so I was able to connect those to that port on the back, so it's going to throw that dust down there. But later, I think the right answer would be to connect another hose in here and connect a flexible hose up to that, because when I go all the way to the right, that thing is not really going to do such a good job anymore. But if I have a flexible hose on there, maybe it will. I don't know. Give it a little time and see how it works. But for now, let's do a cut and see if we get any dust behind the table. Now let's see how we did here. Now I can tell right off the bat, or I could see while I was cutting, that I need to make the sides deeper, and that's pretty easy. It's a good thing I did this with cardboard instead of wood, because it's certainly a lot easier to tape some more cardboard on there than glue a few more wood pieces on. And as far as the back goes, yeah, I got a little bit back there still. Some of it, if it's on top of that, it obviously came through there, and this is definitely not a perfect seal, so I can make some improvements with that, I think, with the weather strip idea. And the rest of that down there, that straight line of dust that's showing up, I'm pretty sure that is got to be from this little gap that I have right there. It's not a perfect seal along the back of this thing, so some of it's just falling right down through there. And as far as the channel goes, yep, not a lot of dust on that side and a lot of dust on that side. That's about what I expected. And making that V design in the back, I think, would solve that problem. I got a little bit on the top, so I can maybe even make the top shelf a little bit deeper. That probably wouldn't hurt. And give you a little more cabinet space up there. I just got to make sure, let's see, if I make the side deeper, I got to make sure that I don't interfere with my my drill press controls, but I could maybe make a little door, like a hinge, something on there. So if I had to change the drill press or turn the table, I'd have enough room for it. And you're really not going to do that much better in the front. I mean, miter saws are just going to kick some dust. And if you don't know how these work, most of the dust goes up there from the blade. It just shoots it right up into that area, and then it goes out here, which is why I put this guy on there, so it wasn't just shooting straight through the duct tape in the back. And then the rest of it kind of just goes up this ramp here and flies off the back. So it goes in all directions there. Usually ends up shooting off to the left side on this one, I've found. So if I make the sides deeper and maybe make the top a little bit deeper, maybe even a little bit taller as well, I could definitely go up a little bit without causing any kind of problems height-wise. And a better seal in the back, and a V-channel design, so the dust is running downhill and there's more airflow at least yeah, better airflow from using a narrower channel. And that's about all I can think of for now. So if you're in need of some dust collection for your miter saw, hopefully this will help you solve that problem temporarily at least. I mean, if you got some cardboard boxes sitting around, the cardboard's going to last for a very long time. And yeah, I mean, if you got some boxes in your shop right now, maybe old toolboxes or something, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's going to hold up for years, especially if you put like a water-based finish on it or something, or some shellac just to seal it up a little bit. But I would like to improve this thing later. Who knows if it'll happen? You know, maybe this is just going to sit here for the next 10 years. I can probably make some adjustments on this one, just you know, duct tape and some more cardboard until I get the actual design kind of how I want it. Easy enough to take off the top and make it higher and deeper and add a little bit to the sides and change some parts in the back and build a cardboard V-groove system in the back. If you can think of anything else I could do to improve this, let me know in the comments. I would appreciate any advice you can give, and hopefully this is helpful otherwise. So thanks for watching, and have fun.